You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, we are the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q, bringing you in to another episode. That's 170, episode 170 on the podcast. As we are all Pelican talk all of the time here on the Pelican post-game report. In today's episode, we like to recap the New Orleans Pelicans 107-103 loss to the rising Portland Trailblazers with stats, facts, interviews, so on and so forth. But before we get started with the rundown, let's stop and give you the support, donators, so on and so forth, all the credit you deserve. A round of applause for everything that you do to help us along our path. Thank you very much. And getting into the rundown, brought to you by the good folks at The Posh Lifestyle. That's www.theposhlifestyle.com, life spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E style.com. They have a very interesting, sources of all kind of wonderful vitamins, organic-based vitamins, folks. Not the stuff with the filler, but organic. They got it there at theposhlifestyle.com. Also hair supplies, makeup, cruelty-free, organic supplies, natural products. Also soaps, deodorants, without the chemicals, without the aluminum in it. You know, all that stuff that's harmful. Water filters that take all the crap, the gunk and the filth out of your water so you can bathe in clean water, cook with clean water, and basically increase your lifestyle, increase your health by eating and drinking and bathing in clean water. Not to mention they have hundreds of dozens other really great, excellent products at the Posh Lifestyle. And with the Sports Coma coupon code during checkout, you can receive 10% off on your final purchase. All that on theposhlifestyle.com. Not just a website, but a lifestyle. Let's get into the show today. And on Pelican Post Game Report, episode 170, we'll be recapping with stats, facts, and breakdown the Pelicans 107-103 loss to the Portland Trailblazers. And we'll hit you with some topics as well as 16% from the three-point line. We'll have that topic as well. Solo starting is an answer or curse. We'll cover that. Should AD take the last shot as opposed to this game? He did not. Being that he's the best player, I would feel comfortable, win, lose, or draw, if Anthony Davis has the ball in his hands. But we'll discuss that. Does Jrue get enough rest? Is he getting him and AD getting enough rest to help propel the Pels to a position of power? Are they resting them enough? We'll talk about that. And is the bench has really stepped up? Is the bench, could they get even better is the question here to help the Pelicans. And should Okafor play more minutes? Emeka Okafor averaging around 15 to 19 minutes a game. Should he receive more minutes, being that he's a very good defensive big next to Anthony Davis? Should he get more minutes? That's a good question. He's not under any minute restriction, and he's a good defensive presence. He can get garbage points underneath the basket. Should he be getting more minutes is the question. And also our interviews, we'll have Al Gentry chiming in on the game. We'll also have Jrue Holiday, and we might have Solomon Hill depending on the time limits in the podcast. And also on the back end of the podcast, we'll preview a very big matchup as the Pelicans travel to Cleveland to take on LeBron-James and those tough, rebuilt Cleveland Cavaliers that's looking to get a win here against the Pelicans. Guess what? The Pelicans lost the first time they met with them back in October 8, 2017. They lost 123-108 in that matchup. and we'll see if they can kind of get it done this time around. So we'll look at that. Also, let's get into it, man. You looking at the fact that the Pelicans, of course, we recognize that the fact that the Pelicans lost 2 straight. That's 2 straight games. They lost to Houston. They turn around and lose to Portland. Of course, we know the Houston matchup. They lost 114-91, an embarrassing game, by the way. Well, Jrue Holiday just didn't show up in that contest. But, we covered that in the previous show, and I was quite disgusted, how they played. It was terrible. But the Portland matchup, they had a better effort. They just didn't do what it took down the stretch to win the game. And let's get into that. Portland out-rebounded New Orleans on the offensive end 17-11, which resulted in the Trailblazers outscoring the Pelicans on second chance points 27-12. Holding a 53-48 lead early in the second half, New Orleans went on a 10-2 run to take an 11-point lead, 61-50. Which is the largest of the game. With 8 minutes remaining in the frame, Portland answered by way of a 21-12 run to cut the deficit to 2 points with under a minute remaining, and then reclaimed the lead at 11 minutes and 33 seconds into the fourth. And that was the first advantage since the 9:51-minute mark of the first quarter. Now, Damian-Lillard, he scored 41 points in this game, people. 20 of his 41 points were scored in the final quarter, including 14 in the first 4 minutes of the quarter, as the Trailblazers opened the fourth on an 18-9 run to take an 89-84 lead with 7 minutes remaining in the game. During the run, Lillard was a perfect 6 of 6 from the field, including 2 of 2 from deep. New Orleans answered by tying the game with 5 unanswered points, with a Solomon Hill three-pointer from the left corner, evening the score at 91 with 5:57 remaining. Portland grabbed a 4-point advantage with less than 30 seconds remaining, but after Anthony Davis layup and a critical block from Jrue Holiday on a Pat Connaughton dunk attempt, Pelicans missed 2 looks from the 3-point line by Etuan Moore, down by 2 under 10 seconds to play. And despite outshooting Portland from the field, New Orleans was 4 of 24, which is 16% from deep, while the Trailblazers was just 31% or 10 of 32 from deep. They went on to win the game 107-103 as Anthony Davis put up 36, but really the player of the game was Damian Lillard. He had 41 points and he destroyed the Pelicans in that fourth quarter. I don't understand how you allow him to go off like what he did. But anyway, here's Al Gentry. He'll tell you about how this team played good defense and how they stopped C.J. McCullough. C.J. McCullough wasn't the problem player. It was Damian Lillard. In any stretch of imagination, you cannot allow a player to get hot and score 20 points on you in the fourth quarter alone. So miss me with the comments about holding C.J. McCullough, player. Here we go.
I thought we played hard. I thought we competed at a high level. You can look at one stat, and that was the difference in the game. The offensive rebounding. We give up 28 points on the offensive rebounding. We hold a team to 41% shooting, and their best player has a good shooting night, but their second best player goes 3 for 19. In those situations, we come up with stop after stop after stop, but it doesn't matter if we're giving the ball back and they're putting it back in the basket. So, our defense was great. I mean, they shot 41% with 28 second chance points. So, we really did a great job. But, we got to find a way to come up with the basketball. Got to find a way to, when we get stops, to not have to then go back and play the defense again.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the possession where Moore misses the 2 threes? You're down 2. What was going through you and your team's minds as that scramble?
Well, I was trying to call a timeout, but to be honest with you, we're not going to get 2 better looks than that. We got 2 wide open 3-point shots with the guy we want shooting. So I think it was the right decision on their part, to play on. We got a good look and then we got a great look. And so if I do take a timeout, they have a chance to set their defense or whatever. So I would take those 2 open shots.
Coach, it seemed like the first half is where that really got away with you with the offensive rebounding. Like you could have built an advantage, but those second chance points, like you talked about, wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I think so, because we were up 11, and then they get 3 straight offensive rebounds. We come up with stops, and they get 3 straight offensive rebounds, and so now it's a 5-point game. And so instead of getting separation, the game kind of comes back to us. And it's a shame because I thought we competed. Excuse me. I thought we competed and played hard, really hard. But you got to come up with the rebound.
How much were you affected on there by AD ankle? I mean, what do you explain?
No, it wasn't one guy. It was everyone. If you go back, Amino has 7 offensive rebounds. You look at it, and we did a good job. I mean, I know Lillard had a great night, but, you look at C.J. McCollum, and we hold him to 3 for 19 shooting. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen with that team. And those 2 guards have been the one that have kind of lifted them, through this good streak that they've had. So, what we have to learn from this is that, we can be as good as we want defensively, but we have to rebound the basketball. We have to come up with the missed shots.
This is a good lesson for your team to show. This is what a playoff game is going to feel like. This is the moments that it comes down to.
Yeah, I think so. And, I think they understand that, We've been playing that way the last week. It's been like a playoff game after playoff game. I thought we just kind of let a golden opportunity slip away at home. And, we got to, we just got to, hey, next game, Cleveland, got to get on the plane and fly and play, I mean, the thing about it, and we're running out of games, but, we still control our own destiny. And we've got to, play with that desperation like we did tonight, but we got to take care of the boards.
We talked before the game about Coach Al Gentry breaking down basically what he thinks happened why they lost. He says offensive rebounds was the issue why they lost. I just gave you the statistics on the second chance points dealing with Portland do. That's basically offensive rebounds, getting plenty of those. Now, they had 17 offensive rebounds against just the Pelicans, 11 offensive rebounds. The Pelicans had 62 total rebounds versus Portland's 52. The issue with the Pelicans, they had 16 turnovers in this game. They continue to turn over the ball. They just are not a disciplined team. When it comes to playing these really good teams, you cannot turn the ball over as much as you do. You must be disciplined. If you want to be lackadaisical or lazy or stupid with the ball against those terrible teams, they'll give you an opportunity to get the ball back because they're just as haphazard as you. But when it comes to playing teams that that are playoff aspiring teams like the Trailblazers or Houston, you cannot give up turnovers. You cannot do it. Now, he mentioned offensive rebounds. That was a telling stat because it gave Portland an opportunity to get even more possessions, which they used to win this game. And when it came down to it, Portland made the plays. The Pelicans did not. So, it don't help when you shoot 17% from the game. 4 of 24 from downtown. They shot 17 stinking lousy percent from the field, from the 3-point line. That's the Pelicans versus what Portland did at 31%. They were 10 of 32. They hit, 6 more 3-pointers? But in a tight nip and tuck game like this, you're going to need every point to win these games. Now, the Pelicans were in a total flop in this game. They played hard. They converted 46% of their buckets, 43 of 94. They hit 93% of their free throws, basically almost perfect, 13 of 14 from the line. They out-rebounded the Trailblazers. They out-assisted them 28-20. They out-blocked them 10-7. They had more fast break points, 14-8. They had more points in the paint, 60-56. But when it really came down to it, the Pelicans, needing a victory against this team, could not do what it takes to get that victory. You are within a game of falling to teams completely having a difficult. You can't afford the tailspin at this point. They have 7 games left to go in the season. You can't allow yourself to tailspin into a situation where you're fighting from the bottom. You do not want the 7th or the 8th seed. You do not want that. You want to have a higher seed. You want to be as higher up as you possibly can, sitting in at the 4th seed. So when it comes down to it, we have to face facts that this team is doing what it needs to do to win games. So as it stands right now, the Pelicans need to do better. They really do. And let's look at some of the recap, some of the box score, looking at what the Pelicans' top personnel did. You look at Anthony Davis, he had 36 points, 14 rebounds, 6 blocks. You can't get any better than that unless he scores in the 40s. If he scores in the 40s, they beat this team. But it's just, to me, it's just a shame that Anthony Davis has to perform, put it up in the 40s damn near every game for this team to have a shot. Jrue Holiday was there with 21 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds, almost had a triple-double. But most nights you need a 3. Where's the other scorer to help out? Etwan Moore, a shabby 5 of 12 for 1 of 5 for 11 points, 7 assists, shabby points, 8 points from Ian Clark. He struggled in the game. Nikolai Mirotic in a mega slump right now, 1 of 6 on 20 minutes. He had 2 points and 4 rebounds. He is struggling mightily. Now, Solomon Hill did throw in 9 points in 21 minutes. But they're going to need to get their act together on the bench to help those two guys, Holiday and Davis, out. Well, we'll come back on the other side of the break. We'll finish recapping the Trailblazers and the Pelican matchup. We'll do the preview and hit our topics on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, theposhlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's The Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE style.com. Put in The Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with The Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network. For all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, we are the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network. We recapping the Pelicans' 107-103 loss to the Portland Trailblazers. Trailblazers, of course, getting a really good win here to help their cases. They continue to climb. They move up to 46-28, 21-15 on the road. Pelicans cannot capitalize on a very much needed win. And of course, it spirals the Pelicans into a 2-game losing streak currently. They are now facing down a 2-game losing streak. And that's sad. Now that you look behind some of the things the Pelicans are facing, you look in the standings in the Western Conference playoff race, that's paramount right now. It's seeding. And you take a look at some of the things that's happening with several games remaining in the season, you're definitely running out of games, Coach. The Pelicans were up to as much as 4th. They fall all the way back to 6th. They're now 43-32. They are now a full game from, if they lose, perhaps falling to the 8th seed, and then they are then 2 games away from where the Clippers, who have won 3 in a row, the Clippers, and remember, they have to play the Clippers down the stretch because that could be a very important game if the Pelicans continue to look stupid. Well, I ain't gonna say look stupid, but to continue to struggle and continue to turn the damn ball over. It's, early in the season, even toward the midway portion of the season, you tend to kind of give them a passing grade. So you know what? They're still learning. But now, and I know it's a different unit, but these are professionals. You have to, and especially a guy like Jrue Holiday, who's a turnover magnet. I mean, he continues to just turn the ball over with these, just throwing the ball, not knowing where players are, and just turning up and just throwing the ball. I mean, come on, man, come on, hold it. I mean, be more careful with the ball. You can't do this late in a season, and it's best for you to learn to stop doing it right now, because when the playoffs start, if you're fortunate enough to be a part of it, and of course I want them in there, but you're not, be real with yourself. They're not going to beat Houston or Golden State in a 7-game series. Perhaps they may be able to sneak with Golden State, being that if maybe a couple of their stars is not available, maybe if Curry is not there, maybe Thompson's there, but they'll still have Draymond and Kevin Durant. Can they beat Golden State with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green playing haphazard defense and turning the ball over? I mean, the odds are very low. The best chance this team has is to capture a spot and between 6 and 4. That is the most feasible place that they will want to end up. Anyway, let's listen to what Jrue Holiday had to say after the game. He had 21 in this one.
They all just made some really good plays, especially Damian, and just couldn't close it out.
You were a man on a mission, a triple-double for you. Walk me through those blocks at the very end.
Saw opportunity. I actually didn't want him to score, so either it was going to be a block or a foul. So I think how he went up, just kept my eyes on the ball, and from there I got the block. So it was a good stop. Wish we would have got the score at the end.
When Anthony went down with the ankle, what was going through your mind? A bit of nerves, perhaps?
No. Anthony, usually when he goes down like that, he gets back up. So I also know Anthony, that how crucial this game was. He was going to play. So I wasn't really worried.
Jrue, it seemed like you guys, and Coach talked about this as well, wasted a few opportunities in the first half by not being able to keep them off the offensive glass. How big of a problem was that for you guys tonight?
It's tough, especially when AD's trying to stop Dame at the basket. Nurkic is big dude, So just for all of us to go back in there and try to box him out and get a rebound, it's tough.
Did that game feel like a playoff game? Did it feel like
Jrue Holiday with his thoughts on the game? Of course, Jrue Holiday had almost a triple-double. He didn't quite have a triple-double according to the statistics that I'm looking at. He was just a rebound shy of a triple-double. He finished the game 21 points, 11 assists. No, I'm sorry. He did have a triple-double. He did have a triple-double. He had 21 points, 11 assists, and 11 rebounds for Jrue Holiday. So I'm sorry. He did have that triple-double. He did have it. So even with his triple-double, and Anthony Davis 36 and 14 rebounds with 6 block shots and 4 assists in 39 minutes, they needed the third option perhaps to come and help somebody to put up maybe 15 points or something like that. Etwan Moore wasn't there. He continued to struggle up and down. He scored 20-plus points the other night to kind of in the win 2 games ago to kind of lift them up a bit, but he still doesn't look comfortable to me. He still doesn't have that confidence in the shooter that he had when he was knocking them down early in the season. He finished with 11 points, and he was the only other Pelican in double figure. Everybody else were down there at the top. The other scorer behind them was Solomon Hill. He had 9 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds in 21 minutes. He was 3 of 7 from the field in the game. Solomon Hill hit a really big 3, and he's kind of working his way back into this team. And he's going to have to kind of step up his production as well among all the other guys. But, Solomon's still coming back off that injury. But the guy that I look at that really failed them tonight is Nikolai Mirotic. And I'm rarely hard on Nikolai. But Nikolai is really struggling fiercely. I mean, he played 20 minutes in this game. He was 1 of 6 shooting. It just had 4 stinking rebounds, and he only had 2 lousy points. That's terrible for a player of Nikolai Miricic's capabilities. Totally pathetic. He has to work himself out of that. Let's listen to what Solomon Hill has to say as he talks about his 9 points and the loss.
We got a rebound. I take it, personally. I had a couple opportunities with Garnell Farouk. him getting a sprint in there and getting a tip on a couple balls or getting another possession for his team is huge. That's what they did against OKC. You know, they won at the end of the game against OKC because they got Dame a second shot, and they did the same thing tonight. And well, we just got to do a better job of getting that done.
You know, this team has closed out so many close games, even this past week alone. To not be able to finish one, what was kind of the difference? Was there anything that happened other than just each one missing that shot down the stretch?
I just think offensive rebounding. I think we gave up 30 points with offensive rebounds throughout the game. You're talking about holding a team to low 40%, whether Dame gets hot or not. I think we did our job defensively. We just have to make sure we take care of business on the things that we're used to doing. We know that they're, I think, a top 5 offensive rebounding team, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to give up a lot of shots, and it's going to be a lot of long rebounds and give themselves second opportunities.
Does it mean to be able to see AD playing?
Solomon Hill, man, telling it like it is. And this team in Portland, we talk about the defense. We keep hearing people talk about defense. We did a good job on defense. We did a good job on defense. And I look at some of the statistics, and we look at the fact that Jurkovic had 21 points and 10 rebounds in the game on 10 of 14 shooting in 30 minutes. He got his way down there. Even Turner had 14 points on the game. Also 10 points from Aminu. El Aminu, he had a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds in the game. He's their utility player. And then, of course, C.J. McCollum struggled mightily. He was 3 of 19, 1 of 6 from the three-point line, 7 points, 5 assists in the game in 37 minutes. He struggled mightily, but the star, remember, C.J. McCollum isn't the best player on his team. The best player on his team is Damian-Lillard. And Lillard lit them up. He had 42 minutes and scored 41 points. He averaged almost a point a minute. 18 of 33 from the field, 3 of 9 from downtown. He had 9 rebounds, 6 assists to go with his 41 minutes. Also, sprinkle 4 steals in there as well. And 20 points of his 41 points came in the fourth quarter. So what stinking defense are you talking about? That's not good defense. That goes out the window when you let a guy light you up for 20 in one quarter. And it was like, well, we had him under control. He already had 20 points already going into it. And of course, with the fourth quarter, you expect him to score at least 5 to 10 more points. But to light you up for 20, it's almost like nobody was out there. So, I mean, we could talk about good defense and all this, but the turnovers, talk about offensive rebounds, but it's turnovers. It's too many easy transition scores. You watch this team as much as we watch this team. You know that I'm telling you the truth, that this team allows too many easy transition layups. Now, Jrue Holiday batting McCompton's attempted dunk away, or what AD did a few games ago when he caught a guy at the bucket and blocked his stuff. We see those, but we see those, too far in between. The Pelicans allow too many walk-up layups. They allow too many backdoor layups. They need to get tougher defensively. They need to get stiffer defensively and cut this garbage, foolish turnover crap out. Let's go, man. Y'all professionals. Let's handle this because you have several games to go. It's not a game. You got LeBron facing you down. You got Cleveland on the horizon, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's transway out of that game. Let's hit our topics. And we'll break it down now. Some of these topics are already discussed. We talked about the 16% or 17% from the three-point line while they shot, and they just kept shooting the damn ball. If it's not working, go to the line. That's my only thing. And too often, whether it's fatigue or not, the Pelicans fall in love with trying to jack these three-pointers up. You were 4 of 24. You don't have it that night. Just attack the damn paint. Just attack the paint. And I'm thinking that if you took at least 3 or 4 of those attempts away and just attacked the paint, this could have been a different game. This could have definitely been a different game. But alas, this is just one of those things that they'll have to learn from. Now, remember, this is not a far-going conclusion that the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs. Listen to me now. A lot of people could get blinded by this, but I'm telling you, sure enough, that the Pelicans on only 1 game, 2 more losses, possibly, they could fall out of the top 8. So you need to pay attention. People really need to focus in on that. They're not in the playoffs yet. They haven't signed or clinched any damn thing yet. Only thing they did get is a 2-game losing streak in a section of the season that they can't afford to have one. Okay, now Of course, we know Rajon Rondo was out of this game, and he's a big part of it. He had that wrist injury. He's missed 2 games since that wrist injury. And, of course, we knew about a hip contusion flexor that Nikolai Mirotic just had. Obviously, looking at his game, this 2 points he had in this game in 20 minutes, I would have to say that maybe he still experiences some side effects from that hip flexor because he looked terrible in this game. You know, that's so un-Nikolai-ish, if I could say that, for him to play as crappy as he did and didn't really give them anything. If he would have gave them at least 10 points in this game, the Pelicans could have squeaked by with a win here. So, but we hopefully to get Rajon Rondo back. The word is he'll be ready to go tonight against Cleveland. And boy, do they need his leadership and defense because they can't afford to keep losing these games like this. Okay, next topic. We're going to face off and say, well, AD should take the last shot or not. Okay, that's obviously an easy one. You know, most people out there, y'all guys can chime in on the comment section. Of course, Anthony Davis, I feel good when Anthony Davis takes the last shot. You know, I really do. He's the best player, so we can live or die by Jrue Holiday. By Anthony Davis taking the last shot. I feel more comfortable with him taking a shot than I do sometimes with Jrue Holiday. But E'Twaun Moore hit a few shots, but he has not been the guy. He's not had the hot hand of late. He's been terribly streaky. Terribly freaking streaky as E'Twaun Moore been. And I would feel confident better if AD number 1 takes the last shot or even Jrue Holiday for that matter because you live and die by your stars. You know, so, hey, you know, that's my take on that. Okay. Is AD and Jrue Holiday getting enough rest? That's another issue that we're talking about. And, of course, in this game, if you look at the statistics, you'll see that AD played 39 minutes in this game. He scored 36 points, 14 rebounds, 6 blocks. Jrue Holiday had 40 minutes of action, 9 of 17, 21 points, 11 assists, and 11 rebounds. So he had a triple-double. So it don't appear that they are tired. It doesn't. They're still both they're all over the place. Anytime you get a triple-double, you're scoring, and then you're assisting, and then you're rebounding, you're working your butt off. So I don't see maybe against the Houston game, I seen some fatigue because you had the Tom Benson funeral in there. Then it was a tough stretch of games that were coming off, playing that many games and that. So obviously you would say, yeah, there was some fatigue factor during the Houston game. For this game, I wouldn't say so. I think they were rested enough. They just didn't get enough of a contribution from the bench to help them win this game. Next topic. Why don't we use more of our bench? And I would, of course, some of these topics were raised and put together by our staff here at the Pelican Postgame Report. You know, the way I see it is he's doing a terrific job, and he is Coach Gentry is doing a pretty decent job of playing his bench. Now, DeAndre Liggins didn't play at all in this game, not one minute. Of course, we know Rondo was out, but the only person that did not play outside of Chris Cook, the two-way player, is DeAndre Liggins. Now, Liggins is a guy that can really help out. He's a defensive guy. Occasionally, he can hit a three-point shot to help you, and so on and so forth, but he gives you a good defensive stance. He was the only one outside of Rondo having a wrist problem that didn't play in this game. I just think that it's he played Larry Jrue. Didn't play Larry Jrue either in this game either. I don't think he played Larry Jrue the second either in this game. So he went 4 players deep off his bench in this game, and he probably felt like that was a recipe to kind of help them win in this game. But to be honest with you, it just Gentry is doing. I'm gonna have to give him an okay grade on that, because before in early last year when we had DeMarcus Cousins, he was only playing 3 people off the bench. He had an 8-man rotation, 5 starters and 3 bench players coming off, and he was rotating 8 people and had 12 people suited up to play. So he was not even close to utilizing his 4 personnel, 4 players suiting up every night, not even getting off the damn bench. And I've been a staunch critic of his ass because I told you that if he had played Amir Asik when they had him, who he ain't terrific, but he was healthy. If you'd have played him 10 minutes and played Sheik Diallo 10 minutes, we've been yelling all season long that this guy could do this. And then you sitting up here watching this guy in practice every goddamn day, but refusing to play him. And then when he play him, people said, yeah, you see, we've been telling you that this guy could play. This guy go down to the D-League, he averages 14, 15, 16, 17 points a game, and come here and then you sit him on the bench. Don't make any sense. But he finally got the message. He's starting to utilize his bench a lot more, so I can't really blast him on that. Now, in one of our final topics before we get to our preview is the fact that we're looking at Okafor. Okafor in this game played 15 minutes. He has 6 points, 9 rebounds in this game. And the question is, should Okafor get more minutes? I think so. Obviously, I think so. When you look at the particulars on Emeka Okafor, he ain't no scrub. You know, he's up in age. He's been in the league for like 9 years, 9-year pro, 35 years of age. But he's played in 21 Pelican games, 17 of which he's actually started. And he's averaging 15 minutes a game, 15.3 to be precise. I don't understand. He's giving them 5 points a game, and he's averaging about 5 rebounds a game. So it's 5 and 5 from him, and even giving them a block a game. So 5 and 5 with a block. But that's with 15 stinking minutes. Should he get anywhere over 20 minutes? I really do think that they are not playing him enough, because when he's on the floor, and maybe you can say, well, that's because they're giving Sheik Diallo a little bit more burn out there, giving him an opportunity to get some minutes. Maybe so. You know, and Nikolai Mirotic, you throw him in there, and perhaps that's some of it. But you have to be able to give a defensive stopper like Emeka Okafor an opportunity to play more minutes. 15 minutes a game to me is a bit smallish for this guy, and he's a starter. You know, none of your starters are playing 15 minutes a game. That's ridiculous, man. At least get a man 5 more minutes a game in a defensive capacity. Now, by all means, you could put Okafor, Sheik Diallo, and Mirotic on the court at the same time. That's a shot blocker, rebounder, and then you got a high energy guy in Diallo, and then you got the shooter in Mirotic. That is a pretty decent lineup. Consider it. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic, which will be the preview. We'll preview now the Pelicans matchup with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And of course, back on October the 28th of 2017, the Pelicans were able to get that win. I'm sorry, I said that they lost. They won that game, 123-101. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers the last time that they faced off. And New Orleans is currently riding a 7-game home winning streak against Cleveland, dating back to 2011. In their first meeting this season, Anthony Davis posted 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 blocks. DeMarcus Cousins and Jrue Holiday had 29 points, each adding 12, and Cousins adding 12 rebounds and 10 assists for a triple-double. Holiday recorded 7 assists and 4 rebounds in the game. Etwan Moore was on point, 24 points, 77% shooting from the field, including 67% shooting from the three-point line. In one game against Cleveland early in this season as a member of the Bulls, Nikolai Mirotic recorded 15 points on 56% shooting from the field, and he used 50% from deep and 5 rebounds. In the first game against New Orleans this season, Kevin Love had 26 points on 58% shooting. He had 11 rebounds in the game. LeBron-James scored 18 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds. Against New Orleans early this season as a member of the Lakers, Jordan Clarkson had a massive 24-point game on him, shooting 56% from the field and 500 from deep. Rodney Hood appeared in 2 games against the Pelicans as a member of the Jazz. He averaged 16 points a game. He killed them in those matchups. And Alvin Gentry, who don't usually win games against pretty much no team, he has a winning record against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 19-13. And Tyronn Lue, who will not be coaching, who will just be on the sideline in the supporting role as Coach Larry Jrue, whose son Larry Jrue II plays for the Pelicans, will be coaching for the Cleveland club. Now, of course, in the last 5 games, the Pelicans are 3-2 against the Cavs. The last 10, they're 7-3. Much like the San Antonio games, the Pelicans get up to play Cleveland. Now, what's the call on this game? What happens? I'm gonna have to say, have to give some look at some statistics right here and basically break it down like this. The Pelicans going into this matchup, they are averaging 111 a game, giving up 111 a game. Cleveland averaging 111 a game, giving up 110. So both of these teams have their problems defensively. 48% from the field shooting from New Orleans, 47, almost 48% for Cleveland same capacity. 44 rebounds a game for the Pelicans, 42 for the Cavs, 26 rebounds for New Orleans, 23.5 for Cleveland, 6 rebounds, 6 blocks a game for New Orleans, 4 for Cleveland, 8 assists, steals per game, 7 for Cleveland. New Orleans is on a 2-game losing streak. Cleveland just won one against Charlotte Hornets, 118-105. The Pelicans dropped 2 in a row, 114-91 to Houston, a stinky, rotten game. And then it's a close affair to Portland, 107-103. What's the call, Big Q? Who wins this game and why? Day-to-day, Rondo should play in this game. It'll be interesting. Cleveland right now, man, they're third in the Eastern Conference playoff race. And they're half a game ahead of Indiana. They're trying to maintain that pace. But I'm going to have to give this one to Cleveland. I think the Pelicans, man, I just don't know, man. I believe in Anthony Davis and Jrue Holiday. But until that bench can play better, this team can play better defense, and that bench can step up to help them, they're going to continue to struggle. And I'm going to just have to call it as a loss, and this will be the third straight one in my book. So I hope I'm wrong, but there it is. But anyway, thank you for joining us tonight on the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. As always, if you enjoy the show and you like listening to us, feel free to donate at Patreon at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. And for me, peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the PoshLifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. PoshLifestyle.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into the PoshLifestyle.com. Once again, that is the PoshLifestyle.com.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.